This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, I just want to welcome all the commissioners who were able to make it. And just for the record, right now, there's Travis, Ellen, and Maureen. Those are the commissioners that are in attendance at this point. And Julie Noble is here and as a guest speaker. So I think that I actually think that we should start with Julie so we can, so that she can bring us up to speed on what she has to talk about, and then that'll give us a chance to wait on the other members to arrive.
Yeah, there's
and
not
at that
a quorum,
point,
so we can approve the minutes.
yeah, yes.
So go ahead, Julie, take it away.
Great. Thank you for giving me some time to be here. What I'm going to do today is go over a review of the parks capital projects that are underway or planned for the rest of this year and into the beginning of next year. There's 3 parks in particular that I need input on from the Rec Commission, and I will go over each of those in detail for you to provide input. So Travis, if it's okay, if you would share, make me presenter so I can share my screen. Now, Maureen, you can see us, right? But Ellen, you cannot see. Are you connected?
Can you see me?
No.
I'm trying to get onto my laptop, guys. My Wi-Fi is something's not right. So for now, I'm on the phone.
Okay, Maureen, we cannot see you.
You can't see me. Okay, let's see. Can you see me now?
No.
Okay, I will try to get on there, but
You can see what Julie's sharing, correct?
using my tablet as well, and yes, I can see what Julie is sharing, yes.
Okay.
Great, we can now see you. We can see your cup. A great white.
Okay. You can see my cup.
You see
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty then. Bingo.
Okay, so Ellen, you're not able to see, but you're working on trying to get into your computer, right?
That's correct, and I'll let you know when I'm in, or you'll see me.
Okay, great. So I'm going to just start going through this, and all of this I can send to all of you after the fact. I will send it to Travis or to you, Maureen, and you can share it with everyone. But I'll just go over this as we go. If you have questions as we go, please stop me at any time. So there are a number of parks capital projects that we are working on, and I'm going to just go through them. This is a digest that outlines all the parks capital projects, what they include, what the budget is for the project, what's been allocated, not what it has cost or what's costing, but what is budgeted for it, the source of the funding, if it's been allocated already or not, and then the deadline for which I need to spend and construct whatever the capital project is. So hopefully everyone can see the screen. I've made it as big as I can make it so it will fit on the full screen, but you could always zoom in on your end. It's just starting at the top, and this is alphabetical order. Andy Murphy Neighborhood Center. There are 2 projects that we're going to be doing at this building that the parks offices are located in. We have approximately $60,000, $59,429 through the Community Development Block Grant funding. So we have quite a bit of funding. 2 sources of funding for most of these projects are either CDBG, Community Development Block Grant, or the Rec Trust Fund. This one is Community Development Block Grant funding. It was applied for several years ago by Kevin and was never executed as a project. And it includes a new range and hood in the kitchen, new floors in the kitchen, and bathroom upgrades, as far as we can go with that amount of money. The scope of work is being developed for this, and it needs to be completed and sent by May 1st. The next location is Barman Park, and I'm actually going to go into more detail about Barman because that's one of the locations that I need your input on, but I'm going to go through this sheet and then we'll cut back to Barman. So I'm going to just skip Barman for now. Actually, I'll go through it and then we'll cut back to it. So Barman, there's 3 actual projects happening and 2 sources of funding. One is the playground upgrades. I have $70,000 through CDBG. It's going to add a new playground element, picnic tables and trash cans, and shift us over to what we call pour in place safety surface, which I'll talk about in a moment. $70,000, and that needs to be spent by May 1st. We have a fence and vegetation removal project that was funded by the Rec Trust Fund. And actually this coming Tuesday, the 13th, Lee Winnie Tree Service is going to be coming into Barman Park, and over the course of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this coming week, Lee Winnie is going to be removing the vegetation and the fence line for 500 feet along the border between Barman Park and the Metro building, which is a Repco building. The need for this is because of a resolution that was passed by the Common Council necessitating us to remove and manage the fence and vegetation. So that resolution mandated us to have to do this, and then the Rec Trust Fund money is being used to do so. We went out to bid, awarded it to Lee. The bid came in much lower than we expected. We allocated $45,000. He came in at 19 and change, and so for $20,000, we're having that removed, and it's happening next week. There's a portion of the fence that may need to be replaced, depending on stipulations that I still need to understand about softball field regulations and fencing. That if we need to have that 14-foot fence there, we will be replacing it with a new fence, and I have $20,000 allocated for that. So there's still a determination that needs to be made on that, whether or not we need it. If we don't need it, it's likely we will not put back another fence. After.
Now, Julie, sorry to interrupt. This might be just a weird request for Barman Park, but is there a way we can get like a sign put in that budget with like the picnic tables and the trash cans, stuff like that? Because I mean, I know where it is, but there's not really I haven't, I just would like the public to be able to also know where it is. But a sign would be nice if that's possible.
Are you saying directional signs to get you there, or a sign that says "Welcome to Barman Park"?
A sign that says Barman Park. Maybe even if it's at the corner of Greenkill, a sign that says it with an arrow. Maybe that could be easier or something like that. Okay. But definitely, it's a nice park, and I'd like for people to know where it is.
Excellent. I'll add that to the list.
Thank you.
Again, after I go through this, we're going to make some decisions about Barman, but this is where we are right now. And just as an update, once we remove the row of vegetation and fencing, Repco is committed to putting in a new row of vegetation and curbing to delineate the 2 lines. So they have funding. They had a design done by Scott Dutton, and so they have grasses and all these beautiful plants that they're going to be putting in. That's happening in the springtime. So there will be a few months where there's going to be nothing in between, and we may put up a snow fence or something to keep a border, but we have to meet our obligation by taking down those things.
Okay.
Deep Stadium. Deep Stadium is a big undertaking with the Downtown Revitalization Initiative. Right now, we have completed near completion of phase 1, which was Andretta Pool. The pool itself is complete. Phase 1A and B, which was the roof and the pool, is fixed. It's fantastic. The roof is fixed. There's no leaks in the pool. Phase 1C is installation of the splash pad. And the splash pad is being installed later this fall, some of the infrastructure and the plumbing, and in the spring, the above ground elements will be installed. And as part of that project, the full fence around the pool is being removed and fully replaced. The second phase of the DRI project is the stadium. So there is about $1.7 million left over for the stadium. That is far under the amount of money that is needed for the amount of projects that have been identified. So the project advisory committee is narrowing down what the focus will be. There are options on the table, things like a new scoreboard, redoing the grandstands on the outside, redoing the grandstands on the inside, redoing the entrance. Those things are up to the project advisory committee. But in addition to that, there's $3.5 million alone just for the parking lot. So the entire parking lot is going to be redone. That comes from two sources of funding, Department of Environmental Conservation and the Environmental Facilities Corporation. That's 3B on this list. Those are all happening simultaneously, and it's going to be full new master plan for the parking lot, and including green infrastructure, so lots of vegetation to maintain the stormwater. Hasbrook Park, two projects happening, one from the CDBG and one from Rec Trust Fund. 4A is the pavilion roof replacement. So starting on October 19th, O'Brien Construction is going to be removing the full pavilion roof at Hasbrook Park. They're removing it all the way down to the underlayment, which is the plywood on the bottom. Any plywood that is needs repair, they will be replacing, and then they are replacing that, and all of the shingles and the fascia and everything along the sides of the pavilion. The actual structure will stand. That's starting on the 19th. It's going to be 2 days, the 19th and the 20th of this month. We got into contract with O'Brien Construction, and it came in, although we budgeted $25,000 for that project, it came in at $21,500. So that is under budget, which is fantastic. That needs to be spent by May 1st, but it's going to be done by October 21st, which is fantastic.
Okay.
Additionally, at that park, we are installing Wi-Fi and security cameras. The Wi-Fi services have been purchased, the security cameras have been purchased. The installation is going to be happening this fall once the supplies actually are received. I believe they're received, but the installation just hasn't happened yet. So that's a coordination between our IT department and our electrician. And so they're just right now figuring out where to pull the Wi-Fi from. They're actually trying to pull the Wi-Fi from the wastewater treatment plant, which is down over the hill. So it's a little bit complicated, but they're trying to be able to cover as much of Hasbrook as possible. And that Wi-Fi, everything will be installed by the end of this year, by December 31st. Hodge Center, we have 3 projects that are going to be happening probably starting in January through May of next year. Parking lot repairs, so we have $28,653 there. There's multiple projects that have already been done. There is some heating and ventilation work that's been done there. The doors being replaced. This month, we are in contract with Rest Assured, and they're putting in a new handicap accessible door with an activator and a new key system, key code system, so we can manage the key system there, which is a little bit out of control. The rest of the funding is going to go towards fixing the parking lot. There's currently a drainage issue in the parking lot. New vegetation around the building. So if you've been there recently, a lot of the bushes are either dead or have been removed. So all new vegetation around the building. And there's a big Franklin Street project that's happening. All of Franklin Street is being redone. And as part of that, there are locations along Franklin Street that are illegally within the right of way of the street. And the fence at the Hodge Center, even though it's a city building and a city street, the fence is in the right of way and it's not supposed to be. So the fence at the Hodge Center, the white fence along the front and the gate, has to be physically moved, relocated back out of the right of way of the road back onto the property. So that process is going to be done by a professional and is going to be used as part of the CDBG funding. You won't see those actions happening until the beginning of next year when the budget transfer will happen, but you will see the door happening this year. Hutton Park is a pavilion renovation. So we have $50,000 allocated for that. That park, the current plan is to replace the entire pavilion. We are still working through getting drawings officially done. We're getting budgets and estimates for that. $50,000 doesn't seem like enough money. So we're trying to figure out if we need to find additional funding in another location or reallocate it or modify the plan, but those designs are still in the works. Kingston Point has a lot going on, one of which we have about $70,000, $68,426 from CDBG to put in a new playground. So in the large scope of things, there's basically many projects happening, one of which is taking the existing parking lot that's always underwater, half of that is being turned into a wetland, which it already is. The other half is being elevated. The other half closer to softball is being elevated so it's out of the water. Because of the loss of parking at the wetland section, we have a design that moves the parking to the north side of Delaware Avenue and will be 3 feet elevated out of future flooding area. Next to that, closer to the pavilion on the north side of Delaware Avenue, is going to be installed an under 12 regulation size soccer field. In that process, we've had to remove some trees and the old playground in order to allow for space for the two things I just mentioned. We are going to be putting in a new playground on that location at Kingston Point. And in just a moment, I'm going to show you the drawings and give some options for that. So I'll go into that more in a second. But the soccer field, we have $100,000 for, the new parking lot, $100,000 for that, and the wetland development, $100,000 for that process. It's being done in 2 phases, so you'll see construction happening in the spring for phase 1, which is the soccer field and parking lot, and then after that comes the wetland phase. And we're working with Bernier and Larios on that project. Additionally, Wi-Fi and security cameras are being installed at Kingston Point as a whole. So at Kingston Point Beach, in the rest of Kingston Point Park, over by the softball fields, and in Rotary Park, Wi-Fi and security cameras are going to be installed this year.
Okay.
Lunar Park has 2 projects going on, one of which is they're both coming from the Rec Trust Fund, $50,000 allocated for new playground elements and other repairs. So all of the playground elements that are broken have been ordered and we are expecting them any day, and they will be installed this fall as soon as we receive them. DPW is doing that work. So the pieces that are broken will be removed, and the pieces that I have purchased will be reinstalled. Depending on how much funding I have left after that will depend on how I'm able to use the rest of that, whether it's on repairs on the tennis court or repairs on the pickleball court or some other project to be determined. I still have to narrow down on exactly the cost that it finally comes in for the elements that we've been purchased, and then we'll know how much money we have left, and I'll work with you all or with Lindsay on determining how to spend the rest of that $50,000. Right now, my understanding is that the equipment came in at about $12,000. So I have quite a bit of money still left over for Lunar Park. In addition to that, $6,000 was spent on Wi-Fi and security cameras at Lunar Park. We've been having a lot of vandalism there. And so that will be installed this fall. Planet Wings is not a park, but it will soon be a park. It is the Planet Wings on the corner of Broadway and Grand Street. The building that is Planet Wings is being demolished this month, it's my understanding. The asbestos is being removed, and then the demolition will happen. And that is $50,000 was allocated by CDBG for that. And that progress will allow for the realignment of that intersection and then the creation of green space for what is left over. So that will be, it's still in design what it's going to end up looking like. And so either way, in order to facilitate that process, we had to remove Planet Wings. And so $50,000 was allocated for that. The Roundup Neighborhood Center, we have $32,000 from CDBG. That transfer will happen in spring, in winter after January 1st, and it needs to be completed by May 1st. And the project that we're going to use for that $32,000 is overhauling the downstairs bathrooms. So the downstairs bathrooms are not in great shape at all. And so we're going to basically redo those bathrooms for as much as we can for $32,000. Although there are many other projects identified at the Roundup Center, this is one that we're able to do pretty turnkey for $32,000. There are many others that we've identified that we will be asking for funding next year through CDBG. Raquel Knox Park is one that I'm going to get into in more detail in just a moment, but just a quick overview, and I apologize for the windy sound in the background. I have extremely inefficient windows in my office space. So we have $75,000 for Raquel Knox Park, and I'm going to get into this one in enough detail in a moment. I'm just going to skip over this, but that's through CDBG. And 2 more locations.
Okay.
PR Gallo, we have 2 projects happening. One is Wi-Fi and security cameras that are being installed this fall, just like the other parks. And
Yes.
with FEMA money, FEMA funding, we have $625,000 for a full overhaul of the electrical system. So there was a lot of damage that was done with the electrical system in some of our storms, Sandy and Irene. And so we have a full, more than $500,000 to redo that entire system, the lighting, the electrical, above surface and below surface. And so that process is going to go out to bid in the spring, and that money is coming from FEMA. And finally, Van Buren Park, we have $50,000 allocated from CDBG. We have seen incredible amount of vandalism on the mini gazebo that is there. And so we will be taking that down and replacing it with a brand new shade structure. That shade structure is to be determined. So we just got this money allocated just a few days ago and haven't put any thought into it really yet. I'm not sure if it's going to be a new gazebo or some sort of shade structure, and likely in the same space, and picnic tables and things underneath that. So totaled, we're looking at $6.8 million worth of investments in our parks before May 1st of next year, which is a lot of money. And so it's great, it's exciting, it's a lot of work. And I'm managing most of the projects, working hand in hand with DPW on a daily basis, on the logistics, working hand in hand with Lindsay and some other support staff that are supporting me here to move these things along. So it's exciting. I'm happy to answer any questions about these things if you want before I move on to the other three that I wanted to touch on more in detail.
I have a question at Lauren Park. Okay, I'm trying to move this down. At Lauren Park, you said that there's $50,000 for the new playground equipment to be repaired.
Yes.
New elements installed, right? And so that's going to cost about $12,000.
Yes. Yep.
And
so $38,000 to do something else. And
right.
The grant was put in, the application was put in for the rec fund to repair the surface of the tennis court. But since that has happened, I've also gotten an incredible amount of feedback from the pickleball community that they want repairs there as well. So frankly, I'm not really wed to one over another, and they both need to be fixed. So whatever we can do for that amount of money, it doesn't really matter to me one way or another.
Yes. Okay. So there is something specific that can be done with the remainder of the money, the $38,000.
Yep.
Okay.
It's either going to be pickleball or tennis.
Okay. All right.
Or tennis into pickleball. I don't know what's going to happen. What's going to happen? It just requires a little bit more planning. Any other questions on that? Okay. So I have to go into three of the projects. I know a couple more folks arrived as well, which is great. So
can we hear who arrived?
Caller 5.
I'm here. It's Nancy.
Nancy, okay.
So Nancy, caller 5. So just Nancy arrived.
Yeah, we're gonna mute caller 5.
Okay. So I went over the digest of each of the different parks, but I need input on 3 of the parks specifically. I'm going to start with Raquel. So first, I'm going to give you an overview of where we are with Raquel Knox Park. There's a lot of moving parts to that. And so let me give you an update. First is that we have trees being removed on Tuesday. There are 2 trees. This is a schematic that was put together by our engineer. So what you can see is that Gill Street is on the bottom. You'll see the outline of the park. The stone wall is on the top, and then you'll see these 2 trees as removed on the top. This one tree on the right-hand side is on our property. We own 8 feet beyond this stone wall. And I have met with the homeowner on the right-hand side of the park, the upper right-hand side of the park, the upper left-hand side of the park, and the left-hand side of the park. They're all fine with these trees being taken down. The one tree on the upper left is actually on someone else's property, but it's dead, and they have given us permission to take it down. So on Tuesday, the same tree service, Lee Winnie Tree Service, who's also doing Barman, also on Tuesday, Lee Winnie is going to come in, remove these two trees, and remove the vegetation along the fence, along the wall that the Parks Department was not able to remove. He said it's only going to take half a day. It came in very, very reasonable priced. So that vegetation is happening. In order for that to happen, the rear fence had to be removed for him to get in, and the front fence will need to be removed in part. I have met with their Resource Center for Accessible Living. They've come in and met with me on site to understand what accessible access will look like for the park. And I have confirmation from the engineer that we do need to move the existing fence 18 feet forward. So what you'll see here is the final space that we're able to construct in. We're going to be putting these cobblestone faced 2x2x6 blocks along the front. We will be grading the location so that it is level, and this is going to be happening ideally within the next month. The tree removal, we can't do anything until after the tree removal. So the tree removal is happening Tuesday, and then we'll move towards the grading. And I have also confirmed with Jelani Lyons that Jelani is going to do a mural for the front wall. So the front is going to have the blocks on the bottom and then a fencing on the top, but along that fencing, we're going to be able to install something that's going to be a mural. I've spoken with the family and been working with the family, and they gave me their ideas for what they want in a playground. Now, their biggest ask was for swings, and what they don't want whatsoever is any slides. So in this space that we have, which is very, very, very small, just for reference, we work with Play World, which is the play company, the playground company, and put together some options that would fit in that space. So what you'll see here are a few of the options. These, the climbing blocks, a balance beam, some walking, balance items, swing set, rock wall, different ideas, which I've sent to Play World, who has a designer. Now, in terms of color, the family has chosen that they want purple and pink. Pink doesn't exist, so lavender and plum are going to be the choices for the color on the site. And I sent all this to Play World, and what they've sent me back so far, the first round was this. This doesn't have a swing in it, so this will need to be redone, but ultimately, just to give you an idea of how they design it, they take my drawing and then they insert playground elements that would fit, and they give us a proposed design. What you notice here is that they put in the play cubes, the balance track, and a couple different fun, like Unity stepper things. Again, this will be changed because it's going to be a swing set will be added, but this will be slightly different. What you also notice is this sort of amoeba shape around the outside of it. It says poured rubber surfacing. At this park, we're not actually using poured rubber surfacing. We're using the rubberized mulch that Joe McDowell is giving us. So he is making the donation of mulch, and we've chosen brown for that installation. And so that will happen after the playground is installed. As soon as I get this design back from Play World, and they've got a swing set in it and as many other elements as possible, I'm going to order everything, which then takes 50 days for delivery, and then installation will happen. So in order of how things are working, vegetation's coming out on Tuesday, grading will happen in the weeks after that. Then the playground will arrive, the playground will be installed, and then the mulch will be installed. Final step is for me to reinstall the fence. So that will happen ideally also by the end of the year. You'll see that there's going to be a picnic table and bench. I don't know if that's the exact location, but basically that's looking like the layout of Raquel Knox Park.
Where will there's going to be trash can receptacles there?
Yes.
Are they going, where will they be?
Wherever I can fit them. I can put them anywhere.
Okay, because So the fence line from the wall is how many feet in total away from that back wall? 18?
Yes.
80. Yeah.
18. Wow.
Wow.
So the
We lose a lot.
relevance of the 18 is that the wall is, it has to be the height equivalent to the height of the wall. It has to be a fall zone that is safe enough.
Yes.
And,
Okay. So
and
is there,
frankly, I don't like this plan really at all because we're losing an incredible amount of space. So I offered the option of what if we took the money and instead replaced the wall?
right.
But it's holding up an entire, it's
It's
holding
holding
up
up.
an entire, that amount of land.
Uh-huh.
And it's also historic, but I said, okay, well, what if we put a wall in front of it?
Hmm.
Then we like have the existing wall, then put maybe some other like catching wall in front of it. But I guess that's not a thing. So the engineer's solution is move the fence. So
Okay.
unfortunately,
All
that
right.
means the playground is 18 feet small.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it looks like it's going to be a lovely space to
Yeah.
be, once it's all installed, it looks like it's going to be inviting. And is there a specific age range? I mean, will it accommodate 4 to 12 years old or
It's the same 2 to 12. 2 to
2 to 12? Okay. Great.
12.
It
So
looks
that's
good.
and that's moving along great. The next one I want to talk about is the Barman. So Barman Park, what we're looking at here is existing conditions. So Barman Park was done pretty recently. The playground was pretty recent. It was done as a kaboom project and it was done as a community build. So the elements themselves are in good condition. However, there was this big, huge gap. And in the huge gap, there was a tetherball court and another little chipmunk thing, neither of which are there anymore. Now we have this big gap and I have $70,000 to fill it in. So there's this construction bulldozer thing on the left. On the right hand side, you'll see this is the gap, and there's also already a swing set there. This middle left corner picture is the existing play set that is there. There's a zoom in of the swing set, and this is kind of a big wide picture of it. It's not a great picture, but it's basically showing you the layout. So what I did was I measured the space that was available and also provided that to Play World. And this is a little bit wonky, but basically they gave me the amount of space that is left over. And that leftover space allows us to go through their catalog and choose what we have within our price range that can then fit. So, and this will be again a 5 to 12. So I narrowed it down to 4 options, which you see here, that can all fit within our space. There's this hop, skip, and slide for $26,500. There's the power junction, which is $14,517. There's this huge play cubes set, which is $27,454. And there's this last set, which didn't have a name, but is 350-1740 for $26,500. Now, the reason that the budget is such as this is because in addition to, and I'll go back to this in a second, but in addition, what we are shifting to in all of our other playgrounds is something called pour-in-place safety surface. So pour-in-place safety surface is a rubberized system that you choose the color, and it comes in these little flakes that look like this. And you choose the color, and they pour it in on top of a surface, an established surface like stone dust, and they pour it in and it hardens. And then what you have is this safety surface that is basically permanent and requires very, very minimal maintenance. Right now we're spending thousands of dollars to replace the wood chips every single year in our parks. It's an incredible amount of maintenance to move them around, to fix them up, to make sure they stay in place. It's not sustainable. in terms of budget. This pour in place is what we're shifting towards. So the Play World Systems, which is on New York State bid that we're using, uses a company called No Fault. They do the install. All you have to do is choose the color that you want. So one of the things that we're going to be doing in Barman and all the other parks that we move forward with is pouring in the pour in place. And the pour in place in this park is going to cover the entire park, not the entire playground, not just the new element. So I have to account for the cost of the pour in place for the whole thing, not just the new element, which is why I didn't choose playgrounds that cost $70,000 because I have to account for the pour in place cost. So there's these 4 options. Of course, it could also be several little smaller things like bouncy stuff and things you can climb on. But frankly, in my opinion, the existing playground could use a little bit of ramp up. So in order to really draw more people to this playground, I thought we would add something super cool. So these 4 options are what I'm looking at. I don't know if anyone feels one way or another about them. They can come in any color. You can see the colors. These are the colors here. They can come in any color, so I can choose any color we want. But I don't know if anyone feels strongly about one or another. They all have slides. They all have climbing capabilities and tunneling capabilities. Well, actually, the Play Cubes doesn't have a slide. That's a different concept. It's different than the rest. But they're all designed for ages 4 to 12.
And that's the park range at the moment. It's 4 to 12 as well.
It is. So currently, you can't really see it, but this sign this is the Kaboom sign that was put in, and it says age 4 to 12. We do see lots of folks of other ages coming in and using basketball, but in order to be consistent, I figured to stay with 4 to 12. So
I agree.
I don't know if anyone cares or feels a much strong way about one of these or another.
I am, this is Maureen. I am less interested in the Play Cubes than I am the other activities. I just think it offers more, and it's more options to strengthen the whole entire body. I think the cubes are not as exciting, but that's just me. Any of it will ramp up the park, and that's great.
Okay.
Hi, it's Nancy. I like the hop, skip, and slide because I think it would go to older children also, like from 7 and up. So that's my opinion.
Travis, you said the
I
same?
agree with Nancy as well. Yeah, I like the hop, skip, and slide also.
Okay. Great. Anyone else on this? Awesome. So I'm probably going to coordinate the colors with the rest of the playground. Although again, it doesn't really matter unless you guys feel strongly about one color over another. We'll go with the hop, skip, and slide, and that installation will happen as I can order it, and we can get it. Okay, so the last location is Kingston Point, and Kingston Point. So Kingston Point, this is the full design for the new, so just to give you an orientation, Delaware Avenue is on your left, and the existing parking lot on the south side of Delaware Avenue is to the left. The access road to the beach goes across the straight going across from left to right, and the beach is on your right-hand side. The beach parking lot's on your right-hand side. So what we're looking at is as you pull into the beach, the space on the right-hand side of the access road to the beach. So this is the new, this is where the new parking lot will be. It's going to have 43 spaces in it, and it's going to have a green space in the middle to gather stormwater. To the right of that is going to be the soccer field, so you can see that there. And already existing is the pavilion and the bathroom. So what we drafted in here was where the future playground will be. And that is down off of the parking lot at the beach between the maintenance building and the soccer field. So using that space, which is this space here, just to give you another layout of where we're looking, it's quite a big space. It's 65 by 50. And I've gotten feedback from the community that a more natural playground would be more preferred here, so not like a big shiny whatever. So there's a couple options. There's the bright shiny slide situation, which they have at Play World, which you see on the top here, in neutral colors, natural colors. And they also make more of a natural, like climb on wood type of playgrounds, which you'll see in the bottom two options here. Any of these, I have more than enough space for all of these. And in addition to these, I would probably add swings and some smaller elements as well. But this would be like the focal point. And of course, there would be picnic tables and benches and garbage cans. So, and pour in place. So, and the pour in place surface. So as much as, you know, maxing out as much as possible. What I want to hear from you all is on this particular location, again, people have kind of gone with, I've gotten feedback from people being like, well, you know, the whole driftwood thing, you could play on the driftwood idea by using like a wooden kind of playground space. Frankly, I love that idea, but $58,000 for some wood also feels like a lot of money to me. But I guess it's not just regular old driftwood piled up. I actually love the idea, but I also tend towards more natural things. So I don't know if people feel one way or another strongly, if you want me to go more towards a traditional playground space with like the slides and all that, or if you feel more that we should play on the natural space that is there with the wood and the driftwood, and go with a wooden structure. And again, in addition to whatever this is, there can also be swings and, you know, some smaller elements.
I guess, Julie, my first question is, what kind of age range are we looking for at that park as well?
This is 5 to 12 as well. They're all 5 to 12. I said 4 to 12, but they're all 5 to 12.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's 5 to 12. I would say most playgrounds are 5 to 12 in general. And when you go on the Play World website, they basically break it down to 5 and under, 5 to 12, and 9 and older. But the 9 and older is all fitness and wellness equipment. And to me, I just don't frankly feel like that's the age group that we're drawing. And if you really are older than 9 or 12, I feel like you would play on any, and you want to play, you would play on any playground anyway. So it's 5 to 12. Also, we could scrap all these ideas and come up with whatever. We have a blank slate. I mean, literally a blank slate that's really big.
Yeah, right. Correct.
And I have to spend this by May 1st. It needs to be constructed and spent.
Yeah, do we have to vote on something like this tonight, Julie, or can we maybe look at this at another?
I can send all of this to you, and people can send me your feedback. I know I'm taking a lot of time in your meeting. I'm sorry I've taken really a whole hour here. But absolutely, I will send all of these. Who should I send all of this to?
I don't have an issue distributing. You're more than welcome to send it to me.
Okay. I also know that.
Thank you, Travis.
I also know that.
Yep.
He isn't on the commission anymore, but I know Mr. Woods is interested in some of this as well. So if you wouldn't mind distributing it to him as well, it would be great.
Not a problem.
So that's all I have, unless anyone has any questions about the parks projects, unless you wanted me to talk about the Midtown Linear Park as well.
Just a quick briefing on that, because I've been a few people that have mentioned that to me, and I'm a little curious about it myself.
Okay. Whoop. Did I lose everyone?
No, we're still here.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. But did I stop sharing my screen?
Yes, you
Yes.
stopped sharing your screen.
Kiss everybody. There we go. Okay. So the Midtown Linear Park is a park that is being designed by the county. It is currently owned by Ulster County, and it will be 0.8 miles from Cornell Street parking lot to Hannaford. And so it is an existing rail line that used to go all the way down to Kingston Point and is now covered over by Kingston Hospital. It ends at Cornell Street. It is currently open in a sort of unofficial way from Hannaford to Down Street. And at Down Street, it stops because there is now a there's a gated area where some trains were being stored. It will continue from Down Street to the Cornell Street lot, and in the Cornell Street lot, which is also going to be under renovation, that will have a hub, so sort of like a little mini park there. The plan for the Midtown Linear Park is that in the next year, the county will be finishing it. They're adding LED lighting, which they're going to be getting from us because we have some extras with our project. They're going to be paving it, and they're going to be adding amenities. When they complete construction, the Parks Department will assume maintenance. So we are going to assume regular daily maintenance of this Midtown Linear Park, this 0.8 miles. So that means sweeping it, plowing it, trash, minor repair, and then any large infrastructure investments will be split between the county and the city. And we are developing that contract with the county as we speak, because we want it to be explicitly clear. If a tree comes down, whose responsibility is it? If a light breaks, whose responsibility is it? If there's graffiti, whose responsibility is it? Because it's not going to be our property. It's still going to be county property, but we are going to be responsible for maintaining it. So that's basically where we are with that.
Okay, Julie, this is Maureen. So you said that the linear park will go from Cornell Street to Hannaford's?
Yep. So it goes down from Cornell Park behind, well, through Midtown. So it goes to Down Street, then it cuts over under Elmendorf, then it cuts over under Albany Avenue. This is behind the Big Bubble car wash and behind WKNY on off Broadway. So it's parallel to Broadway. And Down Street,
Okay.
under Albany Avenue, and then it cuts from Albany Avenue behind the houses at the 587 interchange. And then it comes out where the train parks right before Westbrook Lane. It ends at Westbrook.
Okay. Alrighty. Now what's happening on Greenkill Avenue? Is that part of the linear park as well?
No, that is called the Empire State Trail. So the Empire State Trail is a trail that the governor sanctioned to be completed by November that goes from New York City up to Canada. And it is a continuous trail that people can ride on without having to be on city streets as much as possible. It happens to be the case that from like New York City up to Kingston, there's only a few miles that you actually have to go on city streets, and we're some of them. That Empire State Trail starts at the Kingston border with town of Ulster on Route 32 out at Rockwell Lane. And it comes in on Route 32 in a side shoulder. There's now a wide shoulder, and then onto a multi-use sidewalk that goes past the chateau, up and over where Golden Hill is, and comes down the boulevard. Once it comes down the boulevard, it gets to the 6 corners by Big Box and Kings. That's where Greenkill starts. That's where the chaos.
Yes, okay.
So
Yes.
Recorded. So the chaos starts there, and
Yeah.
you see is what used to be a very, very wide road is now the road has been shifted over. If you're going that direction, if you're coming in towards Midtown, the road's been shifted to the left. There is then a separate parking area, which is why it seems like the people are parking in the middle of the road, because they are. It's now the parking lane. Then there is a hatched area to protect the bike lane. And then on the right-hand side, which used to be the right-hand side of the road, is now a bi-directional bike lane. So what we were used to in the road is now all different. What you see going along that bike lane is you'll see green hatching marks that are glass, green painted glass. That's to warn the bicyclists. The people's driveways along Greenkill have been moved out about 20 feet all the way out to the road. And so the people parking there, which looks like in the middle of the road, that's the legitimate parking. And those people that's the on-street parking for those homes. It comes down to the Wilbur Avenue light, and then it goes up, which they excavated on the right-hand side. It comes up to Barman to continue up Greenkill. And then they took out all those trees, and in that, there's now a bi-directional bike lane all the way down Greenkill, and trees were planted and are going to be replanted along that entire strip. The Empire State Trail then winds through the Midtown Kingston. It goes in over Prince Street, it goes down Broadway, it comes down from Broadway, it cuts in onto Prince, I misspoke, but anyway, onto Prince by Planet Wings, and then it cuts down onto Jansen Avenue behind the hospital, and then it connects to the Kingston Point Rail Trail behind Roundout Savings Bank and Burger King, and then it winds all the way down to the point. From there, it goes north past Kingston Point and up through the Brickyards, past Hutton Brickyards, through the scenic Hudson property, and north till Canada. And it's a DOT project, it is not our project.
Okay. Kind of nice to have that coming through Kingston, I guess.
It is, and lots of people will be using it.
Thank you for that specific understanding, because it was something that just appeared. I mean, and it was something that I was not aware of, but now I am, and I'll keep my eye on the progress.
Yes, and I will mention, again, it's not our project, but it will be our maintenance. So it's a DOT
Right.
project. If it's under construction, we have to maintain it.
Now, it'll be our, we'll have to maintain it from once it's completed here on in?
Yes.
Okay.
Jewel, this is
All right.
Ellen. I just wanted to say thank you. It sounds incredibly amazing, all the improvements. I just wanted to big piggyback on your thoughts about Lauren. I've been playing a lot of tennis, through the past few months, and at Hutton and Lauren, and I can see the passion for pickleball as well. But the tennis courts at Lauren, I don't know if they just need a little TLC as well. The cracks are pretty bad. You probably know this already, but
Yeah.
if there's anything with the little extra money that you do have, you could consider doing something as well there.
Yeah, and frankly, the application was written to fix the tennis courts, to resurface
Oh,
them.
okay.
The only reason
Okay, perfect.
pickleball is because there's been a lot of loud pickleball players saying, hey, why are you doing tennis and not pickleball? So frankly, it's going to be down between tennis players and pickleball players, or somebody's just
Okay.
going to the money. So one of those two is going to get resurfaced.
Yeah, Hutton's great. The first court's net is always a challenge. I don't know if the guys can rig something up. Like it's the net is always like kind of loose and lags a little bit. But anyway, I just thought while you're talking about it, if they could ever just wire it up a little bit better.
Great, and the Hutton court is on our radar as well. We just haven't allocated funding towards it yet.
Yeah, no problem. Well, thank you. It sounds great. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions for Julie before she leaves?
No, just thank you, Julie.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And we'll look forward to getting those, that information that you want to send to us regarding the parks and the Play World information.
Absolutely, I'll send that out right away.
Thank you, Julie.
Okay. Thanks, Julie. Okay, Lindsay's not here with us today, so
She did send me some information, Maureen, to present. Would you like me to use that?
sure, yeah, because that would be what the department and program updates that she would normally do.
No, a little.
You know what? I'm not. Okay, are you able to see me? I'm not able to see anybody.
I can see
Yeah,
half of
It
you.
says waiting to. It says waiting to view Julie Noble's screen. So Julie is now finished with that. So let me see.
Okay, I will take
Right.
it off.
All right. Bingo. I can see you. Can you see
Got it.
me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay,
Good.
well, Julie, do you plan on sticking around, or are you going to take off? I mean, she's muted.
So Julie,
You need me to stick around for anything?
No, not at all. I just wanted to make sure you
No.
didn't. You're perfectly fine. But you're more than welcome to stay, of course. But I just wanted to double check.
I think I'm gonna head home and see my family. So thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank
Have a
you.
great night.
Thank you.
Okay. So Lindsay just, like I said, sent me a quick email. She just wanted to discuss the new social distance learning program that they're doing at the Rondout Center and the Hodge Center. They're serving as an alternate distance learning location for students. Parks and Rec is teaming up with Read and Write at the Rondout Center. Similar was done in the summer enrichment program, but now this is going to be for the school year. Kingston School District has announced recently that the elementary schools will be switching to a hybrid model as of October 26th, and the middle school and high school will be returning on November 9th. Since students will be alternating days, they anticipate that this program will continue for as long as their home days are required. Lindsay's been working closely with Novo and other organizations, discussing staffing concerns and options as well moving forward, because obviously our Parks and Rec staff are not trained teachers by any means. So to have someone on board, maybe a teacher's assistant or something like that is necessary. Flag football is underway. Games are held on Mondays for 7 to 12-year-olds and Wednesdays from 11 to 14-year-olds. They are following the strict guidelines, which include but not limited to temperature checks before entering the track and field, limited team numbers and team players, social distance guidelines for spectators and players who are not on the field. They've received a great amount of interest and plan to expand next year with a potential 15 to 17-year-old age group. So I think that's wonderful. There is an upcoming coloring contest. Casey and Lindsay have an idea of having us be the judges for this contest.
you're breaking up. So what contest is it?
The one on the October newsletter. It's called Coloring Contest and Halloween. The contest opens on the 1st and will be ending on the 23rd. So they'd like our input. So they're going to send us an email with the different drawings without people's names on them so that we can have an unbiased decision. They've done weekly disc golf every Thursday. It actually has been getting a decent amount of participants and seems to be a success. To touch on what Julie said with Beach Stadium, the Turf's annual inspection took place on September 18th. They're still waiting on to receive the report on that, but they expect good things. Also, as per the mayor, a gate has been installed at Kingston Point Beach to be utilized when the beach is closed. This came as a direction of frequent illegal activity, property damage, and dangerous activities after hours. KPD and Parks and Rec staff will open and close the gate from dawn to dusk. And lastly, basketball, volleyball, and boxing are still not permitted, and they have not heard of any changes coming down the pipeline. So they are looking for alternative options to replace those, maybe even like a 3-point contest, something to keep the kids active, even adults as well. So if anyone has any suggestions for that moving forward, please send them to Lindsay as well so she can use those suggestions. And that was her report.
Thanks, Travis.
No problem. Maureen, I'll hand it back to you. And you're muted. Maureen, you're still muted. You back?
Sorry. Ugh.
That's
I'll get the
okay.
hang of this.
No.
Okay, thanks, Travis. we do need to vote on the July and the September commission meeting minutes and get that out of the way. Do we have enough people to do that? Yes. We have four voting members now, right?
So Nancy, I think based on the last email that we had, or I'm sorry, Maureen, based on the last email we had, didn't Lindsay suggest that it had to be one more than half, so it needs to be 5?
So there needs to be 5?
Okay.
Okay. Because
Yeah,
I'm never sure exactly how many members we have.
we have 8
Did that
total.
change,
So
Steph?
do we
'Cause
have
I've always
9?
remembered it to be 4. Did that change recently to have 5 for?
I think that was in the email that she sent us. Does anyone have it? I don't have it up right now. But I
Yeah,
mean, I
no,
don't have an
I
issue
read
voting.
that, but maybe it changed because I thought I always remembered through the years you needed 4.
Okay.
How many members do we have? Are there 8 or 9 of us commissioners?
There are 8.
There are 8. So then, yes, we would
8,
need 5, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
there's
just
not
There are
5 of
only
us.
7 active though, Maureen. There are only 7 active because Ron has stepped down. So I don't know. I think the 4 could work. I don't know.
I'm not sure, but would anybody be opposed to just waiting for our next meeting to vote on
Clarify.
it, just to be sure?
I'll vote on it on
Fine
the
with
next meeting.
yeah, I don't mind waiting
Okay.
to the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean,
Um,
how many are on the board not counting Ron? 8 or 9?
I believe only not
Well,
counting
Travis said
Ron.
7.
Yeah, it's myself, it's Maureen, it's Nancy, it's Ellen, it's Joe, it's Al.
Is Al still on the
On-
board? I was totally confused.
Al is still
Yeah.
on the board. He just is recusing himself for the moment.
Okay, all right. Because, I mean, are we looking for a new board member?
Lindsay said that the mayor is currently going through applications, and if we have anyone that wants to be an applicant, to please send them in.
Okay, all right, because we do serve
I
in
did-
pleasure of the mayor, so, okay.
That's correct.
All right.
He appoints us. Yep.
And I suggested someone, I referred someone, so.
Good. Good.
I know that she called too, and she was waiting to hear back from the mayor's office, so.
Okay, that sounds great.
So then we'll postpone the vote for in September, and we can move right along. Old business? Old business. I think that, I know that questions that I had, Julie addressed those. What are you saying, Travis?
The only thing that I wanted to just address
Does
was
anyone else
if the
have any?
dedication-
Mhm.
Yeah, just the dedication of the portion of the trail, if that actually did go through. And then as well as the plaque for Joe Marquette.
Yes. Mhm.
Those are the only 2 things from the last meeting that I just wanted to clarify, because I wasn't at the last meeting, so I just wanted to make sure that was taken care of.
Yes.
I don't think we had those. So.
I sent an approval on behalf of. I sent a behalf mission to Alderman Tony Davis,
Perfect.
letting him know that
Okay.
we did give approval, and it was in the newspaper also saying that the commission did approve. So it was just brief.
Oh.
And in fact, Joe Shabbat was instrumental in helping me, word it, because I wasn't sure exactly what to say, other than yes, we agree. But I can send you what I sent out. I sent a copy to Tony and to Lindsay, because I didn't know, if I should be sending it to everyone, but I can send that. But it's saying that we approve it, and I guess they're going to move forward. They were going to move forward anyway, you know. I mean, if they didn't have this little hiccup where the rec department had to give a little approval, I'm sure that they would have already, you know, everything. So,
Yeah, I don't have an
but yes,
issue with it.
we
I
were
just
able to
wanted
do that. And
make
what was
the other one was the plaque
right.
of
Yes,
Joe Marquette.
I did follow up on that. And what was the other one?
The Joe Marquetti plaque.
No, haven't heard anything about that. Right. I'm thinking that Steve Shabbat would might know a little bit more about that, but I haven't heard anything about it. I can definitely you know, talk to Steve and see what progress has been made on that.
Awesome. Thank you, Maureen.
Okay. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, and the only thing listed under new business was the linear park, and now I have an understanding of where the linear park was because I thought that what was on Greenhill Avenue a part of that, and it turns out that it's not. So,
Right.
so that, I appreciate Julie giving a clear understanding on that, you know. So, does anyone else have any questions or concerns regarding new business or business? Okay. I hate to hurry this meeting along, and it seems as though we've come to the end. The next meeting is Thursday, November 5th at 5 p.m. here
Okay.
or
Looking
live.
forward to
Would
seeing
be nice
everyone at
for it
that
to be
meeting.
live, but I think that it'll be right here. So yes.
You
And,
mean it'll be live?
so that's
You
Thursday,
mean
November 5th, 5 p.m.
in person?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
No.
I
Oh,
wish it
back
would be,
here.
but but not at this time. No, not at this time. Not at this time. I don't think anything is going to change so that we can be in person anytime soon. So,
Okay.
if no one has any other questions or concerns, then the meeting is adjourned.
Okay, thank
Be
you
well,
all.
be safe.
All right.
Yes,
Thank
and
you,
thank you
guys.
for coming.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Travis.
Bye-bye. Thanks,
Thank you,
Travis.
Travis,
Maureen.
if you
Bye-bye.
Take care.
need,
And Maureen, thank you.
okay.
Yep.
If you need anything,
Have a great
Travis,
night,
from me,
everyone.
let me know. And thank
I
you
will.
for
Yeah,
everything that you're
Maureen.
doing.
Actually, honestly, Maureen, you want to stick around for a second? I'm going to stop the recording, and I'm just going to get a phone number for you if that's okay.
Okay, sure.